Hi, and welcome back to That $1 Million Mind. This is your host, Jeff Evans, and I'm here to talk to you today about perception. Have you ever heard the saying, perception is reality? Have you ever dealt or worked in an area where there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes, where they're talking or different things are going on, you know, a politically charged atmosphere? Have you ever found yourself working in situations like that? Now, I've worked in that atmosphere many years, and I've learned that there's a lot to what you can do to try to resolve that situation or make your perception improved. I'm talking about the battle of perception. The battle of perception. I was talking the other day, to an individual who's in the process of trying to be promoted in his work area as a manager. Now, he has been interviewed and double interviewed, and he was getting very positive feedback, and he was just waiting for the day or an official notification as to his promotion. And then what happened was time was going by, and he never got a response. He never found out what was going on. Now, he continued to work in that area, in that place, but just without the promotion. So as he was waiting to find out, time was going on, and he never heard anything. So finally, he sat down and he talked to the boss, and the person told him that the reason they had not promoted him or they were hesitant was because they had heard a rumor about him, and that rumor was dealing with another individual. Thus. That was perception. That rumor that had gone around had become a reality. And whether it was true or not, that individual was dealing with the fact that perception is reality. He had to refute that rumor and resolve it, bring it to a resolved state. But did you know that there is perception being built up about you every day? That there's things that you do and things that you say that as you're going about your day that is causing perception to build about you? Now, I know that I've talked a lot with you guys about the law of 9 out of 10. The law of 9 out of 10, and I'll just quickly review, is that 9 out of 10 individuals, when they're working or when they're volunteering or when they're doing whatever they're doing throughout their day, that 9 out of 10 do not even try or do not give it any effort. Do you know that if you're a 9 out of 10, and say you've been working in your work area as a 9 out of 10. In other words, you're not really putting a lot of effort into what you're doing. You know, you're there and you're getting paid, but you just really aren't really trying very hard. Maybe you're not enjoying your work, or maybe you just have issues with the whole thing. But this 9 out of 10 work ethic is causing perception to build about you. Let's say, for example, that you work a second shift, like you work a 3 to 11 shift every day, and that 3 in the afternoon to 11 at night, and you're working every day. You come into work, you're doing your 9 out of 10 effort. You're not really trying that hard, but you're working. You're only doing what you have to do. And you're happy with that yourself. But what's going on is perception is building around you, about you. That the fact that you come to work a little late, the fact that you're sitting there not really working very hard, it becomes evident. It becomes evident. And what begins to happen is the rumors about you begin to go and begin to flow. And while you're not there, is when they're talking about you. And it's usually during the daytime, or when there's other managers around, when the supervisors are around. That's when they begin to talk about you. And again, we're talking about a politically charged atmosphere. You got people that are in that area, in that arena that you work with. Maybe they're your colleagues, but they're on the other shift. They're going to take that moment to talk about you, and not in a positive way. See? And that's because you're building a negative perception. Now, whether it's true or not, whether what they say about you is true or not, it doesn't matter, because it becomes reality to the person that hears it. The manager begins to hear that you're not a very good worker. They begin to hear that you're not applying a lot of effort. They begin to hear that this is going on and that's going on. Well, you see, you must understand that that perception is reality to those people, to the hearer of it. And you can't do anything about it because you're not there. You're just coming to work doing your 9 out of 10. Doing your 9 out of 10. And perception begins to build. It's a battle of perception. So how do you refute that? How do you deal with perception? You know, do you think that there's a way to deal with it? Is it possible to deal with perception and what people think about you? Well, absolutely there is. Now, after I know you've been listening to me here in the last month or so, and you're hearing what I'm telling you about the perception of reality, but I've also been dealing with you the law of 9 out of 10. So based on all that, what do you think I'm going to say is the way to overcome a negative perception? That's right. You have to work your best. You have to be a 1 out of 10. You have to apply your best effort every day. If you're applying your best effort every day, okay, let's start over. Let's say you're a 9 out of 10. And you have right now a bad perception in your workplace. Okay, you can overcome it. You can overcome it, but it's going to take time. You're going to have to be patient, and you're going to have to begin effective right now, effective immediately. You have to begin changing your perception. You have to begin changing what they're thinking about you. And the way you do it is you have to right now begin doing your best. Begin doing your best every day, starting right now. Tomorrow morning when you get to work, get there early. Do your best. Start applying yourself. Start putting effort in behind everything that you do. And when you do that, over time, you will begin to change your perception. Nothing beats positive work. Nothing beats it. Okay? Now, say you are a 1 out of 10. You're 1 out of 10 right now. And you're at work right now. And you're just starting out. And you're doing your 1 out of 10. You're doing your best effort. Do you know that you're going to begin to build a perception about you that cannot be refuted? You're going to build a perception about you that no one can say negative things about you. In fact, your perception will become greater than you. Have you ever thought of that? That your perception can become greater than you? I have an example. I was attending a church many years ago. I was a member of this church. I had been a member of this church for over a year. Now, as I was working at this church, I was volunteering, and I was, again, giving it my 1 out of 10, giving it my best. Anything I do, I try to give it my best. Well, about a year into working at this church, an individual came up to me and said, what hospital do you work at? And I said, I don't know, I don't work at a hospital. And then they said, well, where did you do your residency? And I said, why are you asking me that? And they said, well, you are a doctor, aren't you? See, the perception at that church had come to the point to where they thought that I was a doctor. See, I had built up such a positive perception about me that they thought I was a doctor. Now see, to them, before that guy talked to me, I was a doctor. Then they believed I was a doctor. And the reality to them was I was a doctor. See, now that's what I'm talking about. When you give your best effort every day, you begin to build a perception that's bigger than you, that's greater than you, that's actually better than what you really are. That's what I'm talking about. That's talking about favor. When God gives you favor, when you're giving it your best effort and you're working as unto God every day, you begin to build a perception. And God begins to give you, He gives you, doesn't begin to give you favor, He gives you favor. And He's giving it everywhere you go and everything that you do. And your perception becomes stronger and greater than you. I have another example. Again, at my work area, this was a few years ago, and I was just working, doing my best like I do every day, applying my best, giving it my best effort. I had an individual walk up to me, and they said, do you know how to program a business language? It was some sort of business language. Wanted to know if I know how to program it. And I said, well, no, but why would you think that I know how to do that? And they said, well, this individual said that he wouldn't be surprised if you knew how to do that. See, these people thought that based on my work ethic, that I probably knew how to be a programmer. I mean, that's pretty good. Again, to them, the reality was that Jeff's a programmer. He's probably a programmer. He probably knows how to do everything. See? Now that's what I'm talking about. Perception is reality to them. Perception is reality. Do you know you're dealing with a battle of perception every day? Every day. So listen, I want you to do me a favor, starting right now. If you're a 9 out of 10, we need to get that changed. You've been listening to my tapes, you've been watching my videos, my broadcasts that I put out every Monday. You need to know that you got to change your way of thinking, because we want that $1 million mind in you to grow, to build, okay? Now, we need to do that by getting you to be a 1 out of 10. So you need to start applying yourself every day and doing your best, okay? And as you do that, as you give it your best, the perception will begin to change. If you have a bad one, it'll begin to change. It happens through time. But if you give it your best, you work your best, apply, and do your best every day, you will build a positive perception. Okay? Well, I hope you enjoyed the broadcast today. I've really enjoyed talking to you guys every Monday. And please tell your friends, tell your coworkers, tell your family. I have a lot of you, my blessed family here. But I want you to know also that I truly do care about you. I care about you and how you're doing in your life. I want you to develop a $1 million mind. I want you to change your way of thinking so that you succeed in life and every day. That you that you be prosperous and walk in your prosperous life. Not only prosperous in finances, but you'll be prosperous in your health and in your relationships, in your marriage, in your families. And I just ask that you continue to build that $1 million mind and work with me. You can find me on thatmilliondollarmind.com. Again, thatmilliondollarmind.com. Go on Facebook and like it, and come back, and we'll see you next Monday. Again, this is Jeff Evans. It's been great talking to you today. I'll talk to you next week. Bye.